The National Institutes of Drug Abuse, which is also known as NIDA, NIDA, is supporting this clinical study Catalyst that we've just started enrolling. And we are very excited.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Tonix Pharmaceuticals CEO, Dr. Seth Lederman. Seth, very good to speak with you again. You've enrolled your first patients in your phase 2b Catalyst study of TNX 1300. That's for the treatment of cocaine addiction. Tell us more about the study.
Thank you very much for having me on, Stephen. Yes, we've started enrolling in the study to evaluate our drug TNX 1300 to reverse the effects of cocaine intoxication. And this is really the first agent that I'm aware of in clinical development to reverse the effects of cocaine intoxication.
So this is the phase 2b study. Tell us about the previous studies and what you discovered there, Seth.
Yes, in an earlier study, in a phase 2a study that was done in a laboratory setting, cocaine abusing volunteers were brought into a laboratory and they were challenged with IV intravenous cocaine. And then our reversal agent was administered to see whether it would work in the human body. And the results were compelling that when our drug TNX 1300 was administered, the effects of cocaine were reversed as expected. And the way this drug works is it's actually a genetically engineered enzyme, and the enzyme breaks cocaine down in the bloodstream into two elements that no longer have the effects of cocaine. So it disintegrates cocaine in the bloodstream. And it's a very novel therapy, and I think it addresses an unmet need. And in support of that, FDA has actually awarded this program FDA Breakthrough Therapy designation.
In fact, Seth, yeah, and there's also a cooperative agreement grant from the National Institutes of Drug Abuse for this program, isn't there?
Yes, the National Institutes of Drug Abuse, which is also known as NIDA, NIDA, is supporting this clinical study Catalyst that we've just started enrolling. And we are very excited. And so are people at NIDA. The government has a big interest in addressing cocaine intoxication. Unfortunately, too many people come into emergency rooms with cocaine intoxication. And right now, the only treatment is supportive care. In other words, give them medicines to, for example, treat their anxiety or treat their high blood pressure or treat their heart attack or their stroke or their seizure. But those therapies are not getting at the root of the problem, which is the cocaine in the bloodstream.
That was what I wanted to ask, Seth. How big a problem is cocaine intoxication in the United States?
Well, it's a very big problem. The numbers are hard to come by. The CDC posts numbers, and there's a lot of concern. But the problem is it's not a clean problem because unfortunately, drug dealers in the United States are often selling white powder. And the buyers of this illegal substances really don't know what they're getting. So it's often a combination of cocaine and fentanyl. So a lot of the fentanyl deaths or cocaine deaths are mixed. And since there is a good reversal agent for fentanyl, and the brand name is Narcan, but it's a the agent is called naloxone. That can reverse the effects of one part of it, which makes people stop breathing and die just from not breathing. Whereas once you reverse that, you then have the effects sometimes of the cocaine unopposed, where the cocaine has a different effect. That's more of a stimulant. So it increases heart rate, increases blood pressure, and increases agitation and other negative effects. So it's a mixed problem. but the morbidity and mortality from cocaine, either alone or in combination, is significant and growing fast.
Seth, when would you expect to complete the phase 2b Catalyst study, and what will follow?
Yeah, so the phase 2b Catalyst study, we expect could be completed pretty quickly. It will depend on enrollment, but we're guiding that we should have data in 2025, next year. And the reason is that the treatment is relatively short-lived. Our problem addresses the short-term intoxication, and it breaks down the cocaine in the bloodstream. It doesn't address the underlying issues of cocaine abuse and addiction. But because it breaks the cocaine down in the bloodstream, the patients are enrolled in the study for a short term, and we collect the data pretty quickly. This is a pivotal, potential pivotal phase 2 study. So based on the results of this study, we'll be meeting with FDA to ask whether this is enough or whether we'll need additional studies to bring this medicine forward.
Well, Seth, I hope you'll keep us posted on progress with that. Thank you very much for speaking with us today.
Thank you, Stephen.
That's Dr. Seth Lederman, the CEO of Tonix Pharmaceuticals.